Good night, America, and we're back on the Fowler Show. It's time for your Washington Whisperer. Tonight, we're talking about Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Marco Rubio just made the argument about the Republican tax law that Democrats have been making since before its passage. The bill is benefiting corporations and not America's working people. That's right, America. In an interview with The Economist, Rubio, who voted for the tax bill, admitted that the law has not been helpful to the very workers that elected President Trump. The senator's statement directly contradicts the message coming from the White House and the congressional GOP. Can we expect to see more Republicans come to their senses and admit that this tax law was billed and manufactured and created to benefit millionaires and billionaires at the cost of middle class and working class families? Here's a couple tweets. One tweet came from Justin Goodman, a spokesperson for Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Please welcome Senator Marco Rubio, the latest addition to Chuck Schumer's press office, is what he tweeted. And Jesse Ferguson, who was a top communication aide to former candidate Hillary Clinton's presidential bid, said, GOP Senator Marco Rubio tells the truth. There's no evidence whatsoever that money is being massively poured back into the American worker. Now here's the full quote from Marco Rubio, so you cannot say that there's spin here at the Fowler Show. And I'm going to read it to you. There is still a lot of thinking on the right that if big corporations are happy, they're going to take the money they're saving and reinvest it in the American worker. In fact, they bought back shares. A few gave out bonuses. There's no evidence whatsoever that the money is being massively poured back into American workers. Yes, indeed, America, it is true. Marco Rubio has let the cat out the bag. He has identified the elephant in the room. He has pointed out the colors on the spectrum. He has revealed the truth. This is indeed what we thought it was: a tax scam. A tax scam put in place to benefit millionaires and billionaires while hurting the working poor and middle-class families. And when I mean millionaires and billionaires, I mean all millionaires and billionaires. Democratic millionaires and billionaires. Republican millionaires and billionaires. Independent millionaires and billionaires. They all benefit. If you live in Hollywood and you run a production house, you benefit. If you work for Google and you are a big executive there, you benefit. If you're a nurse, you don't benefit. If you're a teacher, you don't benefit. If you run a small business, you don't benefit. America, this tax law was created to benefit millionaires and billionaires and hurt everyday Americans. And look no further than the fact that the millionaire and billionaire tax cuts are permanent, set in stone, chiseled in concrete, while the tax cuts for the middle-class families and working families are literally, they literally come with an expiration date. Not only that, but if you live in a state like Illinois, Maryland, New York, New Jersey, or you live in a county like Fairfax County, Virginia, your taxes are going to increase. If you are a struggling actor who was able to write off deductions for stuff that your employer didn't reimburse you for, you are going to suffer. And while, yes, some of you have received a small increase in your payroll check, you will pay more when you get your tax refund, because it will be a lot smaller. America, what Marco Rubio pointed out to you was the facts. The facts is this: while Apple and Google and Walmart and Kmart and Sears and Roebuck and Kimberly Clark and Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola will benefit leaps and bounds from this tax plan, you watching this video will not. Independent analysis has shown that what Marco Rubio is saying is actually the facts. The tax bill has given companies a massive boost in their cash reserves, and these corporations are using their influx in cash to buy back stocks from the marketplace. Since almost half of Americans don't own any stocks, many of them haven't benefited from this practice. And if you do own stocks and you've looked at your stock portfolio recently, you will have noticed that President Trump isn't talking about the Dow anymore, because the Dow is like a roller coaster ride because of Trump's tweeting madness and his willingness to incite trade wars all across the world. Just before it passed, America, just before this tax bill passed, just before it passed, Rubio said he planned to vote against the bill unless it included a more generous child tax credit. The senator ultimately voted for the bill after the tax credit became refundable, meaning that low-income Americans who didn't earn enough to pay taxes would still benefit from the tax credit. So he voted for the tax credit because they bought him off and what I like to call the Rubio ribeye. America, it's like the Rubio red plate special. They're like, we need your vote, we're going to give you this so you can vote for it, even though Rubio knew all along that this tax bill was a bad deal for the American people. So, this brings us full circle. We are less than 6 months away from the midterm elections, America. Republicans have one thing to run on: this tax law. That's all they got. One major accomplishment. They have Neil Gorsuch, and then they have this tax law that they said benefit the American people. Yes, it is true, America, unemployment is low. But what is also true is we're not seeing this ridiculous rise in wages. What's also true is that we're not seeing, this booming, the economy's doing good. I'm not going to knock President Trump on the economy. The economy is doing good. But if we had passed a tax cut that actually went to middle-class families, that went directly to the middle class, this economy would be doing 10 times better. Right? Because I'm not against tax cuts. But I'm against tax cuts for people who already have. That's what I'm against. I'm for a tax cut for the middle class. If you said to me, Richard, I want to lower payroll taxes for everybody making under $100,000 by 20%. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And while we're doing that, let's close some tax loopholes. But what they did instead, what Republicans did instead, is they basically passed these corporate tax giveaways, corporate welfare. Remember, corporations, as we said on the show many times, corporations don't have to choose. They've never had to choose. But the working class and the middle class always has to choose. America. Well, Marco Rubio, clearly he's not coming to his senses, but at least he's not spinning and he's not lying and he's talking about the truth.